Hi, my name is Kat Das-Alt and I'm conducting my somatic healing class. So we're going to begin with some nice movement here, just loosening up. And the great thing about somatic healing is that you're able to kind of express your emotions, things like that, through movement, because your brain is a part of your nervous system. They're connected, and so when we move, we're able to feel things more deeply, express things that we couldn't necessarily express verbally. That being said, this is not therapy, it is not medical healing, this is just healing yourself through movement. And by healing, I just mean just giving yourself like a positive experience. The great thing about this is you can move any way you like. You don't have to follow me. These are just suggested movements, but feel free to just go for it. Make your own modifications. Now let's do like a nice gentle stretch here if you'd like. Just warming up the body, warming up our minds. And then we'll just switch to the other side. Perfect. Now I just want you guys to imagine that your feet are roots down to the ground. We're just gonna, on the inhale, reach up, exhale, lower. And once again, feel free to just move any way you like. I like to sit back when I do a squat. And the reason I do this is because it's better for the knees. Once again, this is not medical or spiritual treatment. This is you moving yourself. And then we're just going to reach to the top. We're going to gently take it to the side. You can always feel free to close your eyes. Let your mind wander. Feel free to follow that trail of thoughts. What's great about meditation is you're able to let your mind wander, or you can focus on things, you can clear your mind. You're driving. You can cruise, you can drive, you can stop your vehicle. Let's do one more on each side. Now we're going to bring our soles of feet about hips width apart here. Bring your hands together, take a nice big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale like we're smelling a rose. Exhale like we're blowing out candles. Inhale and exhale. We're gently going to come down and do just a little gentle rock side to side. Now you can always do this higher if you like too, especially when you keep your head above heart. I like to switch elbows about halfway through. And then just release the hands. Inhale, just coming to a nice flat back here, hearts forward, exhale, fold. On the inhale, we're gonna bend our knees and come all the way out, around and up, rising to the top. You notice this is a little bit like yoga, because I am a yoga instructor, so of course yoga moves are gonna get incorporated into my somatic healing class. And that's the thing about somatic healing, you can bring your own talents, your own abilities, your own interests into your personal somatic journey. It's just movement to connect your mind and body. And then we're just gonna bring our hands down, do a little bit more, just gentle, soft knees here. I like to make sure I'm preventing injury by just still kind of taking those safety precautions. And you can even feel like you're flowing like the wind. You could do some turns here. Gentle turns, just kind of go at your own pace. And maybe think back to a time in your life when you did used to spin around, maybe when you were a kid. that movement. Let's do one more to each side. So we'll do one more spin to one side, one more spin to the other, and then back to center. We're gonna do just a little more stretching here, maybe just like a nice little quad stretch here. Once again, feel free to modify that, feel free to make changes. You can hold on to something too. And then switch to the other side. And then we'll just keep it moving. This is a great time to just process your day. Maybe a problem you're trying to solve. Sometimes if you just let things simmer, your brain is working on it and you don't even realize it. I like to wiggle my fingers while I do this. Now let's sit down for a bit. We've been doing a lot of standing work, so we're just gonna sit up nice and straight and tall. Inhale. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. We're going to place our hands on our knees and do some nice circles here. I'm definitely thinking about being rooted down to the ground right now, my connection with the earth. You'll notice that your environment kind of creates like a version of it in your mind, like your own kind of depiction of it. Now we're going to switch the crossing of our legs and switch direction of our circles. And it's interesting because everyone has their own point of view. Everyone's going to experience an event or a place or just any experience a little differently because we're all unique. We're all going to process it differently. Center, inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale, expand, exhale, contract. And definitely feel free to improv or move on your own. These are just suggested movements. But feel free to flow freely. And you definitely have different neurological zones in your spine, in your head. Got your prefrontal cortex. Got your brainstem here. Got the two sides of your brain and the two sides of your body connecting. So I thought we'd play a little bit with crossing the midline. So I'm going to extend my left leg, take my right foot across, twisting to the right for a nice seated twist. When you cross the midline, it forces your two hemispheres to cooperate and work together, or at least encourages that. And just get a nice switch. We're going to extend our right foot out, left foot across, opposite elbow, twisting to the left, and feel free to go either way because whether you mirror me or copy me, it doesn't matter. Usually we'll try to be even, give you an opportunity to do both sides if you want. for a nice butterfly stretch. You can even come forward if you like, optional. And whenever I come forward, I hinge from the hips and I lead with my heart just to protect my spine. If you lead with your head, you're going to get a lot of compression here in your upper spine, which might cause discomfort. Sometimes I'll let my head come down at the very end like a little cherry on top, but I keep it very much. Now we'll just get our feet about, I'd say, about as wide as your mat on the narrow end, and then just gently windshield wiper the knees, that nice 90-90 windshield wiper. And I just want to thank you guys for coming this evening. It means a lot to me. And I hope that you get something out of this class that will make your experience just a little more positive. Let's do one more on each side, and then we're gonna just go a little bit more into it like this. And this is optional. You can just go at your own pace too. Let's do one more on each side. And then we're going to come back to center. Let's get our feet about hips width apart. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward, hinging from the hips. Another thing is probably different parts of your body will make you think about different feelings, different experiences. Maybe your feet make you think about walking and steps. Maybe your hands make you think about writing something or doing some art. I know a lot of sense is tied to memory. Sometimes your sense of smell will make you remember things, or your sense of taste, your sense of touch. And with somatic movement, we're really focused on that sense of touch and, proprioception, things like that. Our sense of balance. And we'll just get a little wider, just come forward one more time. The great thing about stretching too, it's a great time to just think about things and just and then inhale coming up, exhale, take it to the side. And we're just gonna go side to side here. Don't be afraid to feel your feelings. Sometimes we just bury them, but it's okay sometimes to deal with them when you can, And this class is a safe space, which means that I'm not going to pressure you into anything. I'm only going to invite you. So any move or anything I suggest, you can always pass on. The most important thing is that my students feel safe and comfortable, and that they know how much respect we all have for each other in this environment. We're going to come back to center and just come forward one more time. And then we're going to come up again. Perfect. We'll stand up a little more. Let's do a little bit more standing movement. You could just imagine you're flowing like the wind, letting it just kind of take you wherever you want to go. nice and wide here. And then I'm just gonna bring one foot in front, just give myself a nice hug. And I'm just gonna keep doing that, just going from side to side. Very loose, unstructured movement. Expanding, contracting, just like our breathing. And then we're just gonna release that. Just shake it out a little more. Let's add some nice shoulder rolls here. Then switch direction. Nice loose soft knees. Now we'll bring them together, bring them back. These are all suggestions. Feel free to improv. This is a safe space to express yourself through movement and then bring it forward. This is a non-judgmental class as well. We're all just here to support each other and let each other just be. And we'll just release that. Wiggle the fingers a little bit. Now we're going to sit back down again. We're going to do just a little bit more breathing here. Nice big inhale. Exhale, just sigh it out. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Now we're just going to gently do some head rolls here to gently stretch our necks. You've got your carotid artery and you've got your cervical spine in your neck, so very easy does it with the neck. Then we'll just switch direction of our circles. But any healing you're just doing for yourself by just processing your own thoughts, feelings, physical, muscle memory, anything like that. Sometimes the trauma we experience is physical. And then just release that. Do some nice little eagle arms here. Optional. Like, when you get hurt physically, it hurts. And if you haven't processed that, that pain is still there. When you step on a Lego or trip over a rock, anything like that, that hurts. Not all pain is emotional, it needs to be processed. Now I'm going to switch the crossing of my legs and switch which arm is on bottom for my eagle arms. Of course, that's a yoga term as well. I'm definitely a hybrid yoga somatic healing person, but it's just about somatic movement being facilitated with the tools I have that I'm trained in. And this isn't therapy, it's just I'm facilitating you doing your own practice here. Now we're just going to gently come forward. Just take a couple breaths here. We'll come We'll switch the crossing of our legs, something I love to do just to keep it even. And then just come forward one more time. We're going to come up again. We're going to get on our hands and knees here. Nice tabletop. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. We're going to extend our right arm up to the sky and then thread it through, resting on the right shoulder. Now back to our tabletop, we're going to do the other side. Inhale, left arm up to the sky. Exhale, thread it through, resting on that left shoulder. Now we're going to come back to our hands and knees. We're going to extend our right arm forward and our left leg back. And then exhale, contract. Inhale, expand. And with each breath, just let go of any tension you're feeling. Anything you've been holding on to that's not serving you anymore, try to let it go. That'll leave more space for the things that you can put there instead, that bring you joy. And then just holding at the top just for a breath or two. Now we'll switch. Left arm forward, right leg back. And then exhale, contract. Inhale, expand. Hold at the top for a breath or two. And then we're going to come back to our hands and knees. Get our knees nice and wide and come forward for a nice child's pose stretch. You can place your crown of your head on the floor mat if you like. And as you're stretching, just go deeper into your mind. Let yourself just follow that trail. Your mind knows where to go. You're steering your own ship, you're the captain. And of course, there's so much to help you too, available to you. There are resources all around you that you can reach to for strength. And don't be afraid to reach out and utilize those resources, but you also have resources within you. You are powerful and strong, and you are capable. Now we're just going to kind of tuck our toes, bring our feet together a little bit more, about hips width apart, and just grab our feet and gently hold onto your feet. You can pull a little if that's comfortable. Just in a nice little ball. I like to put the crown of my head on the floor mat for this one. And then we're just going to come up and come forward. I'm on my knees here. And then just slowly coming back. And let's get on our backs for a little bit here. You can go onto your side and onto your back, or through center. And I like to do a nice little bridge here. Just you can tuck the shoulders under. For bridge, for safety, you want to make sure you're not hyperextending, so I keep it in line with my spine and my femurs. Sometimes I like to come up onto the pads of my feet too. That's optional. Now, when you activate your soleus, like this from adding these little soleus raises. Your soleus is a part of your circulatory system as well. Some people call it the second heart. So there are a lot of health benefits to activating the soleus. But anything I'm telling you to do could be contraindicated, so always make sure you're following your doctor's restrictions and listening to your body. And then I'm just going to release that. I'm going to roll onto my side here, do a little quad stretch here. But we're activating these different muscle groups. That's really just engaging our whole neurological system. That's why I love movement-based healing and strengthening yourself. Not in a medical way or in a spiritual way, just in a way where you're just making yourself a little better, you know, making yourself stronger, preventing injury, things like that. And then we'll just add a little stretch here. You can hold anywhere on the leg, just stretch to where you're comfortable. And then just slowly bring it down. Now we're gonna switch to the other side, so I'm just gonna flip around a bit. You don't have to, just pick. I like to bend my bottom knee because it helps with balance. You don't have to worry about balance then, which is nice. And I'm gonna add that little quad stretch. Just sending my knee as far back as feels comfortable, and my lower and upper leg are in line. So if I'm going up like this, I want to relax it a bit, just get a little more gentle. I love nice, gentle movement. I feel like we need to be gentle with ourselves sometimes. Sometimes we're all too hard on ourselves. Now we're going to bring this up. So just be gentle with yourself too. Sometimes the person we're hardest on is ourselves. And that's just my personal opinion. That's not any sort of directive for how you should feel. I'm just expressing the thought I was having. So feel free to express your thoughts. And even if you want to speak a thought, you can too. In this class, you're allowed to speak if you like. You're allowed to move. You're allowed to express yourself any way you like. I'm just going to slowly bring that down. Perfect. And then we're just gonna bring our knees into our chest here on our backs again. Make some circles, but like I said, do anything you want. And how are you feeling today? Check in with yourself. Are you feeling happy, sad, angry, frustrated, a mixture of a few different emotions? Sometimes when you name your emotions, it can really help you kind of target them with your movement too. Now we're going to switch direction. And everything I'm saying is just a suggestion. So make sure that if it doesn't sound right to you, just throw it out and just follow your inner compass. Let it guide you. You know what's right for you. You're stronger than you think. And when you take care of yourself and show up for yourself, you're actually being selfless because you're doing something for the other people in your lives. You're coming to them as your best self. Being strong and proactive. Choosing to drive instead of being a passenger. But being a passenger is great too sometimes. I'm going to bring my left knee into my chest and just add some gentle ankle circles. There are times when we want to drive and times when we want to ride, and both are great options. And then switch direction of your circles. And you can just keep alternating. I do about 8 in one direction, then I alternate. Now we're going to do kind of one thing on this side, we'll do the same thing on the other. I'm going to take my knee across, just gazing over that opposite shoulder for a gentle twist. And this is all optional. And then we're just going to switch. We're going to come back to our backs, bring our left knee in or whichever side you didn't do, and just add those circles. And just keep switching direction. Another thing about distractions is sometimes they're just like adding to the difficulty level of focusing. They're just like lifting a weight. It's harder to focus, so you're strengthening your focus if you're able to tune them out and zero in on what you want to focus on. And that's something I struggle with every day. And I think a lot of people do. But together we can work on our focus and stay in that journey of self-expression and focus. Growing stronger together and as individuals. Now I'm just going to take this across, gazing over to the other side. And always feel free to honor your personal beliefs, whether they are spiritual or your beliefs about anything. But whatever you want to think or do personally, feel free to express that. Because this is your practice. I'm just here to give you ideas and suggestions, like an assistant or a guide that works for you. I'm just here to facilitate your practice here. Feel free to take breaks as well. You're free to come and go as you please. Get our feet about the width of the narrow end of a yoga mat and gently winch away for the knees. Grab our feet and gently rock side to side if that feels comfortable. And I like to kind of let my tailbone gently be heavy towards the floor mat. My right ankle over my left knee and just gently rock side to side. You might recognize this as yoga pigeon, but this is just a good stretch in general. It's figure 4 to feel free to do something of your choosing as well if this feels uncomfortable. I remember one time I was doing pigeon, I just burst into tears. I was doing group yoga with women and we were kind of processing our emotions. And it was so nice to be able to do that with a group. So I want to be able to facilitate that experience for others too. If they need a good cry, anything, I'm here for them. You know, I'm here to talk, I'm here to listen. This is a safe space. And then we'll just switch directions. Sometimes you just need a good cry or a good jump or a good scream, or you just need to run or just work out your feelings. Sometimes Sometimes you just need to sit in silence. You just need solitude or a break. Rest and relaxation are so important. And so is exercise. And there's a time and a place for both, and sometimes you can combine them. Now we're going to release that. We're going to go onto our sides. We're going to come back up to seated. I'm just going to pick up my right foot and do a gentle cradling position here. Cradle the baby. Very similar to pigeon. You can also do a seated twist as an alternative. This is another one where you're crossing the midline a bit. And then we just switch. But you can always use seated twist as an alternative. In my classes, you can do whatever you want as long as everyone's like getting along. That's all I care about. Also, when you see someone modifying, then you know they really know their stuff. They know themselves and they know what they want to get out of their practice. So I think it's a sign of knowledge and experience and self-knowledge. We all have something to share, something to give. If you'd like, think about what you have to offer. What are your gifts? What gifts are you able to share with others? I bet there's a lot more than you think. Sometimes just a smile is a great gift. Just giving someone a smile and brightening up their day. And we'll release that. We're going to stand up again. I'm just checking the time because I want to make sure. Okay, yeah, we got plenty of time, so we're good. We'll just get back into this movement. But feel free to sit a while more if you'd like to. This is your practice. Just letting my arms swing freely, letting myself move freely, think freely. Love to wiggle the fingers and toes too. Can't see me wiggling my toes because I'm wearing socks, but my toes are wiggling. I'm going to place one foot in front of the other and then gently come forward. You can stop it flat back or go a little deeper. At least for me, when I stretch, I really start to feel things that I haven't thought about in a while. And then just slowly coming up all the way to the top. And then we just switch, other foot in front and then just gently coming forward again. And then just slowly coming up again, nice and slow, all the way to the top. Just do some nice gentle moves here. Now if you like, you can get your feet about hips width apart or together. You can sit back, just like chair pose in yoga. Your imaginary chair, you can bring it back and forward. Nice and slow, almost like you're flying, almost like these are your wings. Where would you fly to if you were going to fly? Would you go visit someone? Would you fly over beautiful scenery? Would you go to a place you've never been? Where would you go? If you had a wish, what would it be? What would you wish for? If you had a few wishes, what would you wish for? Come back to the top one more and then back to the top. And then we'll just come forward again for that nice little ragdoll stretch here. Switching elbows halfway through. Breaks are totally allowed too. Just remember that. Inhale, hearts forward, flat back, shoulders wide. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bending our knees just like we did in chair. Out around to the rising. And we'll just do some gentle moves to the side. imagine it swaying in the wind. Let's do one more on each side. And then we're just going to imagine we're flowing like water. Water just flows, it's easygoing, but not always. Water can be still, water can be moving really fast. Just feel free to just move how you want. How would water move to you? Would it be still? Would it move around? Flowy, flowy water. I want some more energy here, so let's imagine light now. Beautiful, bright light, warm light, cool light. Maybe switch direction of those circles too. Light made up of photons, the fastest known thing in the universe. Now let's swim through some more water here. And then what's the opposite of water? Fire. Now let's imagine we've got a blazing fire, maybe a nice warm fire, maybe just a very intense fire. The most common element in the universe is plasma, quickly moving molecules. Very excited, highly energetic, just like fire is a form of plasma, but so are stars. Shining stars making lots of photons. And it's great to just move like things in nature, like beautiful things, like imagine a tree growing. Spreading its branches, maybe you want to do tree pose even. Totally fine if you'd like to do a nice yoga tree pose. It could be still, it could be lifting up, it could be moving and swaying in the wind. You could come in and out of your tree pose too. Let those branches grow. And we'll release that and maybe do the other side. Getting those two sides to work together and balance out whenever it feels right is a great way to just find that balance. Gentle movement. Two at a time. Yeah, we're still good on time. Don't worry, guys. I just can't see those tiny numbers on the clock, so I have to look from time to time. Well, that looks nice. Yeah, let's do some nice side lunges here, sitting back. That's optional, though. You don't have to do that. But I love just going with the flow, taking ideas and running with them. The secret to a good side lunge is sitting back so your knees stay behind your toes. The more you sit back, trust that imaginary stool behind you, the more gentle it's going to be on those knees. And let's get our feet nice and wide. Inhale, reaching up. And then exhale, folding forward. You could have your feet parallel or pointed to the corners of your mat. You could come down deeper into it if you like. Optional, opening up to the side. Love a good RYT stretch. And then switch to the other side if you like. And then sometimes I'll even do like a little ragdoll in the middle of my RYT. Optional. And then we'll just come to flat back here to get the blood back to our heads. Fold down in and then slowly come all the way up again. And your heel toe it back in now. Keep that movement nice and loose and light. Hey, imagine you're a butterfly and you're flapping your beautiful butterfly wings. And you're just flying away. And give yourself permission. Like, we never get to move like this during the day. You can't move like this in an office. You know, maybe you could, but what's nice about this class is you can just move how you want, how you've always wanted to move. You can skip around like your butterfly is really flying. You know, feel free. Just go crazy with it. Feel free to move. We never get to do this, right? No, we're adults. We have jobs. We have to be professional. But during somatic movement class, you can move how you want. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, like we could do some kicks too. Just like whatever feels right to you. How often do you really get to dance like this? Even when you're dancing, a lot of times you're still performing, so you don't get to like dance the way you want. You have to dance the way you're told, the way you think you're supposed to dance. You have to move the way you're supposed to move. Sit in your chair. Hold still. Be quiet. I can't be the only one who got told that a lot as a kid. Pretty sure I wore out my chairs because I didn't want to sit still. Maybe you're the same way. You can move fast, you can move slow. Those lunges look nice too, you guys. Let's do some lunge work. Let's follow everybody's lead here. Do a nice lunge here. I love a good low lunge to half pyramid combo. Easy does it with this one. Keeps it nice and dynamic. If you slide it forward little by little too, over time, hold this about 60 seconds on each side every day. You'll get a lot of hamstring flexibility. And the splits. It takes time.
Did you really give birth to 4 children?
4 glorious children, yes. You guys too, I'm amazed. You guys are just amazing, all of you. Let's do the other side. Let's make it even. So just gently move the way you like. I'm doing a little lunge to half pyramid again. But feel free to just do whatever feels right for you. And then we'll just release that. And this is another one a lot of people really like. Just a gentle side stretch here. And then you can take it to the other side if you like. Any variation. Then I like to switch my support leg and do the same thing on both sides. And release. Now we can just sit too and just take a couple breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's get on our backs again. If you like, you don't have to. You can do whatever you like here. I like to cross the legs, just gently rocking side to side. But feel free to move however you like, however you're feeling. I just like to relax sometimes. Sometimes I have to give myself permission to relax. I'm sure some of you feel the same way. You always feel guilty just relaxing. Then we'll switch the crossing of our legs and gently rock side to side. we'll just reach our arms out to a T, take our knees off to the right, gazing over the left shoulder for a little spinal twist, optional. You can also just give your knees a hug and curl in the fetal position too. I'm gonna give myself a nice little fetal position hug on my side. And just think about how far I've come from when I was in this position, how much I've accomplished, how much I've been through. How much more there is to come. Then I'll reach my arms out to a T, take my knees to the other side for that supine spinal twist. And then give myself that fetal position hug. Thinking back to the place where it all began. I imagine I felt warmth and safety, but I don't really know. Sometimes our memories just blur with our ideas. And then we're gonna sit up again, if you like. Just bring our feet together here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now I'm going to do a nice 90-90 stretch here. Bending my back knee, bending my front leg. You know, this is very similar to yoga pigeon, but 90-90 also called deer pose and restorative yoga as well. You can also gently turn to the side if you like, or even just keep it moving, going from side to side, optional. This one's great because it's adjustable. It's just like an adjustable kind of pigeon. Sometimes I'll just find a nice spot. I just want to hold for a breath or two. Oh yeah, you can come down too, that's right. You can do whatever you want. This is your practice. And walk it around. And don't worry, we'll do the other side too. I'll give you guys an opportunity to keep it even and work both sides. Now let's do the other side. 90-90, but it can be any angle. It doesn't have to actually be two 90s. Just figure out where it feels good for you. None of this should ever be painful. It should be comfortable. You should feel comfortable and safe and maybe challenged, but never any sort of pain. And you're welcome to add on to this too. And then we're going to come back up from that. And we're going to stand up again. We have about 5 more minutes of class, so. Kind of starting to get ready to face the world again. What's that going to look like? Maybe a nice shoulder stretch here. Optional. You can do this too if you like. I try to keep my head and neck in line with my spine. And then the switch. You could do this or this. It doesn't matter. Just, or anything. Like, just follow your own directions here. You're in charge. We'll just loosen up a little more. Now, I think maybe we should lay down for a little bit. If everyone's okay with that. And you don't have to, you could keep moving, but you could also lay down. One thing sometimes I like to do is I'll put the soles of my feet together, kind of making a diamond shape with my lower legs. But you can also just close your eyes and relax and rest. Clear your mind, or think of something, maybe something that brings you joy. Just focus on your breathing. Let your breathing just naturally slow down. Maybe nice, deep, natural breaths. Maybe let your lungs fully fill with each breath. And then empty. Just relaxing. Just keeping your minds right where you want them to be. You can also do a quiet movement if you like. Just breathing and just existing. Just existing and being is enough. I am here. I am enough. Just feeling whatever you want to feel right now, whatever your body and your mind are saying that they need right now. Just give yourself permission to have that. Just relaxing, letting go of anything that's causing you distress. You could imagine it's a balloon and you're just going to release it up into the sky. Blow that balloon up with any negative thoughts or feelings you're having, anything that's limiting you or holding you back. Just blow that balloon up with it. Just fill that balloon. And then you're just gonna let it go up into the sky. Maybe you didn't get all of it. Maybe you need to do another one. And then letting the last bit of it go, like really letting it go this time. Waving goodbye to it with joy. Being grateful for when it did serve you, even though maybe it's not serving you anymore. And give yourself gratitude for coming here today and taking the time to just let yourself have a moment to focus on you. Now we're just going to start to wiggle our fingers and wiggle our toes. Feel the ground underneath us. Breathe in the air. Let it out. Just kind of waking up, coming back to the present moment. Maybe coming onto our sides for a breath or two. Coming up to seated when we're ready. Getting ready to face the day. We'll take a couple more breaths before we close this session. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Thank you guys so much for coming today. I want to clap for all of you.